if you've got a, biology class, you want to make sure a biology professional faculty is teaching it as opposed to the PE faculty, So, I mean, it's that kind of thing. I think they don't care whether you're teaching, Darwinism or creationism. I mean, I don't think that per se would be cared about. I think it's more, is the person who's teaching this course qualified to teach it based on, his or her, academic resume. I think that's what it is. And I think, just to jump back to the prior question a second, I think one reason this has come up now is, again, unfortunately, things are not understood. And one of the ways that SACS does act is they ask a question. That's, they don't sort of presume to know. They'll ask a question. So, let's say the PE teacher was teaching biology. They might write the school and say, golly gee whiz, you've got a, PE teacher teaching biology. Tell us why you think that person is qualified to teach biology. They're not saying you can't do this, because that PE teacher may be qualified, he or she may be teaching biology, but I mean, PE, but they've actually had a degree in biology. So, but they'll send a letter to that effect. And then the school would say, well, in fact, he's got a degree in biology. He just happens to be teaching PE. And then SACS would say, great, that's fine. And they'd walk away. That's the exact same thing that happened recently when SACS made the question at the Governor's Commission about what was going on with the new school at Carolina. And the big, it's sort of like the press never carried the last part of that story. The first part of that story was, SACS is going to send a letter. Well, it sounds like that's a big deal. SACS always sends a letter. It's just sort of saying, hey, this has kind of come to our attention. Tell us, is it something we should be concerned about or not? And that's all it was. And in fact, Chapel Hill wrote back and said, this is what's going on, ABC. SACS said, fine, no problem. And it's gone. But you don't hear that last part of it. You just hear that they wrote a letter. Wrote a letter. It's kind of like, your mother, like I used to write notes. It was a bad thing for my kids to get. And so I think that people have a feeling that that was very intrusive, when in fact it was just a part of its normal process. And just like they would send to the biology department for teaching me, having a PE guy, and if the PE guy had a background, they'd say fine. And that's what happened there. But it created a bit of a brouhaha. And just, if I look at just the timing of this legislation, I can't help but think that there's some connection there. I don't know, but it seems odd to me.